Recap in minutes. Today we will be going through an action, thriller, and drama movie from 2017, called Day of the Dead, Bloodline. There will be spoilers ahead in this video, so chill out and enjoy. The movie begins showing a female reporter updating the news on the television screen. She says something unknown is happening in the city, and there is no sign of the National Guard. And some unknown creatures are tearing up the city. The scene then shifts to a woman walking in the street. She sees that the zombies are tearing the humans up and eating them alive. She calls her mother to be safe in the house, lock her door, and not let anyone in. Suddenly she notices that a zombie has seen her and she starts to run for her life. The movie goes 4 hours back at Whitendale University, where a medical professor, Dr. Beeman, is testing his student to identify the death of a patient. The students answer her question based on the theory of their studies. Zoe inspects his throat and answers correctly. The doctor appreciates her and asks the others to do their research properly. After the inspection, Zoe goes to complete research on blood samples. Meanwhile, Dr. Beeman comes to her and asks her to take the blood samples of another patient, Max. She says his blood has antibodies 100 times more than the normal level. Zoe requests her to send Abby, because he makes her feel uncomfortable. But Dr. Beeman insists on taking his samples, as she wants her to do the research on his blood samples. Now Zoe reluctantly agrees and gets up to see Max. He asks her what her thoughts are about what he asked her last time, and shows his other arm with her name on it. Zoe does not like him and behaves professionally, but he does something inappropriate and Abby intervenes. She shouts at him to get out of there. She relaxes Zoe and asks her to join them in their party at the university hall. Zoe goes to their end celebration party at night in the hospital hall. She is welcomed by Abby and Peter. He asks them to join him to take the beer from the morgue. Zoe volunteers to go with him and asks her to join them later. Peter goes faster and hides from Zoe. As she enters the morgue, he frightens her and she really does not like him. After picking up one keg of his drink, Peter asks her to take the second and leaves. However, Zoe takes the second keg and walks to the door. Suddenly Max enters and launches a sexual assault against her. Zoe tries to get herself free from him but could not. She yells to help her but no one can listen to her. Meanwhile, she gets shocked to see the dead body they were investigating earlier, suddenly wakes up, and attacks Max. Zoe runs away from the morgue, and goes straight to the party room and tells her friends about it. She shouts to move immediately from there. Now before they have a chance to figure out what is going on, they are attacked by Dr. Beeman, who is turned into a zombie. The zombie corpse also comes and attacks Peter. When the zombies are attacking everyone, Zoe escapes through the window. Now the movie comes 4 hours after the first scenes, and explains the causes of the zombie attack in the city. 5 years later, it is narrated that the zombie virus has already spread throughout the world. The remaining humans are housed in a military-run bunker in the mountains. They refer to zombies as rotters. Zoe is assigned to a military surveillance and observation station at the High Rock Emergency Bunker. She's working to find a vaccine for the virus and is assisted by Elise. While she is conducting her research, a mother named Wendy approaches her and reports that her daughter, Lily, is suffering from a high fever, and has not recovered from the medicine she was given. Zoe goes to check on her, and she becomes worried when her antibiotics have no effect on her. While on the other side of the bunker, some military men are in a meeting on the conditions of the bunker, and are worried about the spreading diseases inside the bunker. Zoe walks from the med ward to meet Lieutenant Miguel, the bunker's commanding officer, who is also in the meeting. Zoe interrupts them and explains Lily's condition. She says she has bacterial pneumonia which is highly contagious. She needs more antibiotics to treat her. Zoe requests the lieutenant to take her to her old medical lab at Whitendale University, so that they can get the right antibiotics for Lily's treatment. But Lieutenant Miguel refuses, saying that it could threaten the lives of his men. Moreover, Zoe's old university is outside of the range in which they can pass. She says she knows it is far, but it is worth the risk. They need the medicine to stop spreading her illness around the bunker. Understanding the risk of spreading the disease, Lieutenant Miguel agrees with Zoe's plan. The next day, the lieutenant assigns his team to escort Zoe to the university. The team, led by the lieutenant's brother Baca, and consisting of members Lucy, Alphonse, Elise, and Thomas, accompanies Zoe on their journey. However, their Humvee unexpectedly breaks down in the middle of the forest, forcing them to stop and make repairs. They say the forest is full of rotters, so they need to be out of here immediately. They continue repairing the vehicle until the night falls, and they all panic when they still can't fix the vehicle. They become increasingly anxious as they are approached by the creature, rotters. Fortunately, Lucy manages to repair the vehicle just in the nick of time. And they move immediately from that road. Once they arrive at the university, Baca splits his team into 2 groups. They go to the medical room safely, and Zoe goes to her research room to collect some of her research materials. Shortly after, Zoe finds herself being pursued by a rotter, and to her shock, she recognizes it as Max. She fires at him and the sound of gunshots alerts Baka and his team, making them realize that Zoe is missing. Meanwhile, the rotters in the forest also begin moving toward the source of the gunshots. Baka and his team arrive, and in their desperate attempt to escape, one of their team members gets bitten by a rotter. The group is left with no choice but to abandon him to the rotters. When Zoe escapes from Max, she accidentally drops her hair tie. Max sniffs it and goes to find her. They all get themselves saved from the rotters and get back into their vehicles. Upon their return to the bunker, they inform Lieutenant Miguel about Frank's tragic death. Miguel, consumed by anger and grief, places the blame on Zoe and her plan. Elle approaches them, seeking information about Frank, and a heated argument ensues with emotions running high over the loss. While Max is hiding under their Humvee and during their arguments, he manages to get into the bunker as well. The team has unknowingly brought Max past the perimeter gates. Max kills a soldier and infiltrates the facility. And he then sneaks through the air vents in an attempt to find Zoe's room. As Zoe enters Lily's room, Max finally tracks her down. When she leaves the room and walks alone down the hallway, Max startles her and begins chasing her. Zoe sets off the red alert alarm to alert everyone to run to her aid. Zoe finds herself cornered by Max, but it becomes apparent that Max isn't trying to bite her. Zoe is astonished when she realizes Max recognizes her. Baka and her friends arrive just in time and shoot Max. Zoe realizes that Max could be valuable for her future experiments. She asks them not to kill him because he is conscious. Lieutenant Miguel, upon learning of their actions, disagrees and wants to eliminate Max immediately. Zoe proves to Miguel that Max will not bite her. Zoe contends that Max's blood may be the key to creating a vaccine, since Max did not fully transform into a mindless rotter. Elle steps in, requesting that Miguel give Zoe a chance to conduct her research. Miguel reluctantly allows Max to be taken captive for Zoe's research. After a few days, Zoe makes a significant discovery. Max still has several functional organs, including his heart and brain. Meanwhile, Baka comes into the room, and Zoe explains that she found a special hormone in Max's blood, which can stop the spread of the virus. His blood can be used as a vaccine if the conditions are met. To complete her research, Zoe convinces Baka that she needs live virus samples from rotters to compare against Max. Baka is initially hesitant, given the recent loss of his friend, but Zoe persistently convinces him until he agrees. Baka assembles a team to retrieve the rotters. Under the cover of darkness and without Miguel's knowledge, they carry out their mission. Things go smoothly at first, and Zoe successfully obtains a blood sample. However, they find themselves overwhelmed at the gate, due to the increasing number of rotters trying to break through. During the chaos, Elise gets bitten by a zombie, and they are forced to leave Thomas behind as he is already surrounded by rotters. Miguel is outraged at all of them. He directs his anger at Zoe, blaming her idea for the loss and asserting that it will lead to a reduction in their team's numbers. Miguel sees a bite on the arm of Elise, so he pulls his gun at her. He kills her, saying that his job is to protect the people from the infected ones. He also threatens to kill Max within 12 hours no matter what happens. Baka goes to his room and reprimands his big brother Miguel. But he reminds him that he is the commanding officer here, and it is his duty to keep everyone safe. Lieutenant Miguel believes Zoe is hiding something after discovering her name on Max's arm. Baka also inquires about Zoe's name engraved on Max's arm. Zoe explains that Max is a deranged individual who abused her. The next moment, Max gets into a scuffle with one of the soldiers, and manages to steal the key to his handcuffs. He repeatedly asserts that Zoe belongs to him. As Zoe compares the blood samples of Max and the living rotters, her theory is confirmed. Max's blood contains high levels of antibodies and could be used to develop a vaccine against the rotter virus. But Max gets himself free of his shackles and immediately attacks Zoe. Zoe manages to escape from him again, pouring ammonia on his face. She runs outside to call for help, and when they return to check the room, it turns out that Max has already gone. They try to find Max and order everyone in the bunker to gather in the hall. Lily, on the other hand, has started to recover after taking Zoe's medicine, and is now able to walk on her own. When she sees her mother has become a rotter. She tries to run away from her mother, but Max suddenly appears and kills her mother before kidnapping her. He comes to Zoe, but she asks him to let her go. He says he came there for her, so she turns herself to him and saves Lily. He grabs her and opens the main gate. Meanwhile, Miguel and his team arrive at the site and fight the intruding rotters. He even shoots Max in the process, which helps Zoe to get herself free from him. Zoe then runs out when she notices Lily running out of the gate. Max also follows them. Zoe runs into the forest and is able to find Lily, and they hide in a greenhouse, where Max also finds them. They hide and struggle to survive, but she finally manages to kill him. Miguel closes the door, but Baca argues with him over it, because he wants Lily and Zoe to get in first. Suddenly rotters attack them and Miguel is eaten by the rotters inside the bunker, while Baca is also bitten by them. He survived the attack and Baca decides to reopen the gate. And because he has been infected, he starts to feel hopeless and attempts to shoot himself. At the same time, Zoe shows up and convinces Baca that she is capable of curing him. She takes him to his med lab and treats him. Zoe successfully develops the vaccine and cures Baca as her first human test subject. The movie ends when normal life resumes at the bunker. Zoe makes a radio broadcast, announcing that she can inoculate other survivors against the undead virus. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe Recap in Minutes for more videos like this, and help the channel grow.